you have a layover in Istanbul, Turkey, and are curious about how to best spend your time, this video is for you. Maybe you've seen that good deal from Turkish Airlines that involves a layover in Istanbul and you're curious of what you could really do at that time. We've got some ideas. My husband and I recently had a 12-hour layover in Istanbul, and we feel like we were really able to make the most of it, getting a little sampling of a city that makes us want to come back and see it even more. Our long flight landed in Istanbul at about 4 a.m., so we spent the first couple of hours just at the airport, brushing our teeth, getting changed and ready for the day, and trying to catch a few seats just sitting up in a chair. The Istanbul airport is very large, and they do have some places that you can sleep in the airport if needed. We were able to store our carry-on bags at the airport just outside of baggage claim, and then they kept our checked bags for the last leg of our flight. And we got an Uber outside the airport, and we're just thrilled to be taking in the scenery as we got into the city around sunrise. Honestly, seeing the city at sunrise was prime. I would definitely recommend doing this. We were able to get in just as things were opening up, and we treated ourselves to a traditional Turkish breakfast just upon entering the city. We found this amazing place for breakfast, linked here, that was open early, thank goodness, and also it was only a 10-minute walk away from the Hagia Sophia and the Blue Mosque, so perfect. We got 3 different pastries, 2 that are vegetarian for me that we could both share, and 1 meat one for my husband, as well as Turkish coffee, and it was my very first time trying Turkish coffee, and while it did surprise me at first, I definitely enjoyed it, and it was a good way to wake up in the morning and get some much needed fuel for our day. The owners here were super welcoming and friendly, and there were people from all different countries here visiting. Also of note, my husband realized here that he had forgotten his phone in the Uber. Terrifying, but he was able to call his phone with mine and learn that the Uber driver was still just parked there waiting for him to realize and come back. So talk about the goodness of humanity right out of the gates in Istanbul. See, there are many benefits to arriving early in Istanbul. 1 being this gorgeous morning light, and 2 being this gorgeous morning light and very, very, very few people out on the streets. So we didn't even know how good we had it. Being here this early and having very few people around, we got the cats to ourselves, we got the sights to ourselves. It was ideal, let me tell you. When we came back here later in the day, it was a very different experience. So we were very grateful to have had this one early on in the morning. There were seriously cats everywhere. It was just like I had heard, and I was in heaven as a cat lover, as was my husband. After a long day of traveling and just our adrenaline and excitement to be there, it was honestly really nice to have a slower paced start to the day. Just very few people and us and the sights and the cats. And look at this baby. She literally came right up to me. Like, I did not know the cats in Istanbul would be that friendly. I'm not used to that where I'm from. But they're very, very, very social, a lot of them, and used to people, clearly. You can definitely bring food for them, treats for them, and they will enjoy.
I can't pet them. Okay, you're such a good mama. Oh yeah. Hi. You're so friendly too.
Blue Mosque behind us, and it's the Hagia Sophia.
One of the things we most loved about Istanbul is how extremely walkable the different tourist areas are. So once we got dropped off over here by these famous mosques, arguably one of the most famous, most important parts of the city, then we were able to walk all around this area, all the way down to the water and back again. And we got to see a good amount of things, all without needing a car. By this time, we had bought our tickets for Hagia Sophia later in the day online through Get Your Guide, and we were able to pick them up this morning when they opened at the Hagia Sophia Experience and Museum just in that square. The morning we were there, the Blue Mosque opened at 8 a.m., so we were able to stroll in around then. This was my very first time inside a mosque, and so there are some rules and protocols to be aware of. There are certain areas that you're able to visit as a non-Muslim person, but some of the most important rules are related to what you wear. If you are female, they require you to have your head covered with a scarf. They do have some scarves that they will provide you if you don't have one. I was able to just tie mine on my purse and carry it around all day if I needed it, as well as cover your shoulders and your legs, and this applies to males as well. So I did see they have some kind of larger tarp poncho situations that they were giving out to people who weren't dressed according to those rules. And you can see I was able to just kind of tie my scarf over my head, but I did a very poor job of it, and next time I would hope to have brought a bigger scarf that would have allowed me more freedom. But there we were inside the Blue Mosque, and I was in awe. It was absolutely stunning and just so much to take in with all the details of the architecture. It was gorgeous. Also of note, you are required to take your shoes off upon entering, and they have cubbies for male shoes and cubbies for female shoes, so you are able to just leave them there while you walk around in your socks. I would wear socks as well. Now, the Blue Mosque has been given its name, the Blue Mosque, due to the over 20,000 blue, green, turquoise tiles that are inside all of these domes here, which is a lot. I was stunned by how colorful it all was. And another thing that I learned is that this mosque was actually scandalous when it was created because it has 6 minarets, which are the tall, slender towers from which they do the call to prayer historically. And that is the same number of minarets as is in the Grand Mosque. Another unique feature is this really large courtyard from which you can see different angles of the building that I honestly thought were some of the most beautiful views we had seen. And with this morning light, it was also the perfect angle to get some pictures in front of the Blue Mosque. I know my husband's face is covered, but look at that light. Yes. Of course, it wouldn't be Istanbul without a cat resting in the sun inside the mosque. As an avid cat lover, if you couldn't tell, I took videos of every cat we passed, of course, and was supremely jealous of my husband petting the cats because he already has had exposure to toxoplasmosis and I was trying to avoid it. You likely wouldn't even know if you had toxoplasmosis, as it's mostly asymptomatic, but I wasn't trying to get it. And speaking of cats, we noticed these machines around that you could use your coins to get cat food for the street cats, and that lots and lots of people and businesses had food and water available outside for the cats. So it is clear, the rumors are true, that the people of Istanbul really do a great job of caring for their street cats, and it's very obvious that they are well loved and appear to be very well cared for.
Like, come back later.
By this time it was a little after 9 and we were making our way down to the water because we booked a 2-hour boat cruise through Get Your Guide. It was this one, and unfortunately these people were not there, but that's the boat, and it was an awesome value for the money, and this was the meeting point. Like I said before, this area is very walkable, so it was a nice little stroll past so many shops and restaurants, cafes to get down to the water. The cost for this 2-hour boat ride was only about €5 per person, which is an extraordinary value if you ask me for 2 hours on the water. It was really cool to be able to see the city from this unique point of view, to be able to just see so many different kinds of buildings and get more oriented with Istanbul from the water, because before we've been wandering around in one little central area, and now we got to see such a vast area and so many different iconic monuments from the water. Plus, it never hurts to be on the water if you ask me. Both of us are huge water and boat people, that you put me on a boat in the sun and I am happy. But also along those same lines, it was quite a long ride, which we're grateful for, but also just something to be aware of if you are only having a 12-hour or shorter layover in the city, that it does take up a decent chunk of time, so something to be aware of. For us, it was totally worth it, and the bright sunny day did help, but I would definitely recommend this for getting a totally different view of the city. They had multiple different onboard narrators speaking, I believe, 5 or 6 different languages, describing what we were driving past. So that was a cool feature, and we got to learn a little bit more about what we were seeing. And thus begins the end of the boat ride, in which my husband was just enamored with this view and got the most snap happy he's ever been. Like, he would not stop asking me to pose for photos and videos, to the point that I was like, please stop. And it is not usually like that, but he was that excited about this view. Like, it is gorgeous, I'm not gonna lie. Upon getting off the boat, we decided to explore the Spice Bazaar, which you can see is very close to the water here, and we had heard that it was maybe more authentic than some of the other markets in the city and a little bit less touristy, and we really enjoyed this. We got to walk past so many different vendors, so many different kinds of things that people were selling, and it smelled incredible, as you can imagine, and we were just taking in all the sensory experiences. I think it's impossible to come to Istanbul and have a full experience without going into a bazaar, right? Look at this cool original staircase from the 1500s that was here with a plaque in all different languages. Also, I will say that all the merchants were so kind to us and so welcoming, as all the people of Turkey were. So our interactions with everyone the whole day could not have been more positive, from the first Uber driver waiting to make sure that we got our phone back okay, to the people at the restaurants, to the shopkeepers. The people of Turkey were so kind to us. A couple hours prior, we made a reservation for this place for lunch, and were able to get there around 12:39 p.m. and it was incredible. Look at this view. We were literally directly in between the Blue Mosque and Hagia Sophia, and the food was so good, the service was superb, and it was just the absolute best place to take a little break in the middle of the city and feel like you're in your own oasis. Also, my drink there was incredible. It was a lemonade of some kind, and oh my gosh, I wish I could have this right now because this was definitely our favorite meal of the day.
Living a life in Istanbul, daytime, Blue Mosque, and the beautiful church. And the sea right there.
They served us free baklava and tea without us even ordering it. And as you can see, just witnessing the call to prayer from this high vantage point, being able to hear the two call to prayers simultaneously going back and forth to one another and just echoing, it was gorgeous, and it felt like this is why we're here, is to witness this unique experience. Next, it was time to use our Hagia Sophia skip the line ticket and start exploring. As you can see, I was struggling again with my scarf. Better luck next time, girl. But we got to climb these ancient pathways into the mosque, and it already felt like we were in for something very special.
Senin olsun ömrümü saklanmalıyız. Haklısın, sevgi suç değil ama belki aklanmalıyız.
Seviyorum ama buna boyun eğmem. Aşkımı sakınırım ama gizlemem. Her hücrem seni çağırırken aşkım kaçamam. Gözlerden uzak.
The story of this building and all that it has held is colorful and diverse, more than most any building I can think of in the world. It was the world's oldest and longest serving cathedral, built in the year 537 AD by Emperor Justinian I, and it remains the largest cathedral in the world for nearly 1,000 years until 1453. So it functioned as a cathedral for those nearly 1,000 years until 1453, and then it became a mosque until 1935. After that, a museum until 2020, and then a mosque again since July 2020. This 31-meter wide dome was the largest in the world when it was built and seemed to float due to the 40 windows around the base. This area on the ground floor here is currently acting as a mosque and is open to people who are Muslim and wish to practice there. You don't need a ticket, and you do have to be practicing your faith to be able to go down there. So up here, tickets required, and you don't have to be Muslim. And there is a separate entrance if you are going there to practice your faith. To be in a building that has existed since 537 and to imagine all the stories that this space has held is honestly incomprehensible. I feel this way whenever I visit buildings that are anywhere near this old, especially as an American, because this is just a whole new world for me. You can just see all the different layers of history, of paint, of the different timelines at which things were added. And here, when the Ottomans converted it into a mosque, they covered but did not destroy the spectacular mosaics with plaster. And many were actually recovered in the 20th century and are now visible alongside the Islamic calligraphy, which is just obviously the best example ever of peace between religions. And I, for one, think that's beautiful and so complex to honor one another in that way. And the mosaics were stunning. Like, just so much detail, so many little pieces put together. Absolutely gorgeous. The video obviously does not do it justice.
Sensiz ötken günde ot yanıdı kalbimde. Yıldızım sen tünde, geceler çüşümde. Sensiz ötken.
By the time we were done exploring that masterpiece of art, we were kind of tired of wandering around in the crowds and wanted to just find a peaceful place to rest. So we sat by the fountains for a while that are right in that square in between the two beautiful mosques, as well as did a little bit of souvenir shopping. This cute little cat had a collar on and clearly it belonged to the shopkeeper here, and we got a really beautiful embroidered pillowcase from this shop. It's located right here in case you would like to go there as well. I'm not sure of the name, but that's where you can find it. Our quest to do something chill for the remaining time led us to the water, of course, and we went to this little area here to get something to eat. And of course, we're greeted by a friendly cat. Friendly cat that was not too interested though, because he left us alone when we didn't feed him. I did not pet him, even though I wanted to. In our last half hour before we planned to catch an Uber ride back to the airport, we did what any sensible tourist would do and decided to play a game where we would try to pet as many cats, well, my husband would try to pet as many cats as possible within half an hour. It was a race. We were on the clock. We were trying to see how many cats we could find and maybe pet, and the cats were on to us. I think they knew we were playing a game, and they intentionally did not come out as much and they definitely did not come to be pet as much. So cats be cats, man. While this may not be your typical tourist activity, I do think it's very Istanbul, so you do you. If that sounds fun to you too, I highly suggest it. Let me know how many cats you pet, because you'll probably beat us. I think ours was like 4. And after that last rousing game, we were off to the airport. We were pretty tired from the whole trip we had prior to this layover, as well as the red-eye flight to Istanbul, but our hearts were full after a day of discovering all that Istanbul has to offer as much as we could in that amount of time, and I think we made the most of it. The way that Istanbul is definitely led us wanting more. It is such a rich country in its history, its culture, and everyone was so kind to us that it definitely inspired us to want to come back. Let me know if this video inspired you to want to have a layover in Istanbul or a longer trip, and if you go, let me know if you do any of the activities on our itinerary and what you think of it, or how you spend your time in Istanbul. Thank you so much, as always, for following along. I hope you enjoyed this video, and just remember that you are valued and you deserve great things. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon. If you enjoyed this travel vlog, I highly suggest you check out my other South Africa travel vlogs, because we had a whole lot of adventures prior to even getting to Istanbul. But anyway, we love you, Istanbul, and we look forward to returning.